Hi, welcome. Now, this is value added tax. Now, in mathematical literacy, there are quite a few. Wait, a few? Let's say there is a number of concepts whereby marks are just there for the taking, and this is one of them. Anything that surrounds value added tax, marks are just there for the taking. So now let's get started. Let's get right away. Let's simply start by clearing our calculator. And then we can start. So these are a few concepts that you need to know and understand so that calculating value added tax becomes simple. Now, VAT is currently levied at a standard rate of 15%. This is obviously in South Africa. VAT is at 15%. We have three, and yes, I mean three terminologies, or rather, yes, terms that you need to understand. The first term is VAT inclusive. The second one is VAT exclusive. The third one is the VAT amount. Now, when we are talking about VAT inclusive, you will understand and realize that the word inclusive simply comes from the word include. To include is to have something in there. Right, you must understand what is to include. So, when we say VAT inclusive, we are saying that that particular amount includes 15% of VAT, or VAT was added to the original price. That's what we are saying. So, when we say an amount is VAT inclusive, it means that it includes the 15% of VAT, or VAT was added to the original price. Now you also have a term called VAT exclusive. So exclusive would come from the word to exclude, to not have, or to be without. That means to exclude. It's not included. That's what it means. So when we say VAT exclusive, we are talking about an amount of VAT which excludes the 15% VAT, or rather an amount of VAT that VAT was not added to the original price. So the original price does not have VAT. VAT was not added. Lastly, we have the VAT amount, an amount of VAT that has been added. An amount of VAT that has been added. It can be to the original price, or an amount of VAT that must be added. That means that this is an amount of VAT that must be added to the original price, or the amount of VAT that was already added to the original price. So let's make this even much more simple, even much more understandable. So we are going to start here. For the purposes of these examples, let's say that we are going to use 529.99. So this is an item which was bought. Now this item, 529.99, was VAT inclusive. By now you understand that when we say that an amount of 529.99 is VAT inclusive, we are simply telling you that a VAT of 15% was added in this amount. This amount has a 15% of VAT. Let me take out this into shape because it's just making weird shapes that I do not understand. So this simply means that an amount of VAT, or a VAT of 15%, was added to this amount. This amount already, it includes VAT. So the question can come and say, calculate the original price, or rather calculate the VAT exclusive amount. So what's the VAT exclusive amount? Remember, VAT exclusive means that it's the amount that does not include, or that does not have VAT, or an amount where VAT is not added. So we are going to calculate our VAT using two methods. And that's where I want you to stick. No any other method. Simply two methods. What are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. We are either going to use the decimal format, or rather we are going to use the fractional format. Since we know that it's 15%, the decimal format will simply be 1.15. The fractional format will depend whether 115 is above or 115 is at the bottom, but let's put it like this. It will be something like this, or rather something like this, depending on what we are asked to do. Therefore, we are also going to use this. So this is the decimal format that we are going to use. It will either be multiplied by 1.15 or divide by 1.15. This is what I want you to know, and this is what I want you to use. Don't use 15 over 100. It doesn't work. It's going to give you incorrect answers. It just does not work. You either use the decimal format, which is multiplied by 1.15, or you divide by 1.15, or rather the fractional format, which is 115 over 100 or 100 over 115. So how do we know which one you have to use? Well, glad you asked. Now let's start. So we've been given this amount and they told us that it is VAT inclusive. It already has VAT. Now they want us to tell them what is the original amount, or what is the VAT exclusive amount. So the first thing that we are going to do, we are simply going to take the same amount which has VAT. We are going to divide. First, let me say here, this is number one. This is the first form that we are going to use. We are going to divide. Why are we dividing? When you are taking out the VAT that has been added, you divide. When you are adding VAT, you multiply when you are using this decimal format. So let's also make this so that it becomes understandable. You see this multiplying one. It's when you are adding VAT. And then I'll have to use a different one. And then you see this dividing one. It's when you are subtracting VAT. That should make it easy. We will get to the fractional form and you'll understand what happens. So because now what we are doing, we are subtracting, hence we are dividing by 1.15. Let's see what we get. So we had 529.99 and we are dividing it by 1.15. What do we get? It says that we get 460.86, rounded off to two decimal places. So this amount is VAT exclusive, or rather this is the original amount. Remember, the original amount is not, VAT is not included in the original amount, or the original amount is without VAT. This is what we just calculated. This amount here is obviously the one that they gave us, which was VAT inclusive. That is how you use the decimal format. How can we now use the fractional format? Well, let's do the same thing. 529.99. Now, both the fractional format, there is no dividing. You have to multiply both times. But with which one do you multiply? So, because we are taking out VAT, we want to get the original amount. That means that 115 or 100. So, now this is what I want you to understand. We have 115 over 100, and this side, on the other side, we have 100 over 115. So if you are taking it out or you're subtracting it, you are going to use 100 over 115. So you are going to use 100 over 115. 115. Now, let's see it should give us the same answer. If it does not, then I guess we know that whatever we are doing here, it's just not working. So divide by 150. There we go. So we are getting 460.86. So this also is still there. VAT exclusive, or it's still there. Original amount. I'm sorry about the handwriting. This is still the same thing. It's still the VAT inclusive that they gave us. So now let's come here again and let's make it easy this time so that you can understand. We said that on the decimal format, if you are taking out VAT, you want to remain with the original amount. What do? Well, you divide by 1.15. This side, when you're using the fractional format and you are taking out VAT, what do? You multiply 100 at the top, 115 at the bottom. So let's say here, this is also this one here is when you are subtracting. Why am I using white? Because I'm supposed to use pink here. Yes, I'm supposed to use pink so that they go hand in hand. So when you are using 100 over 115, it's the same thing. It's when you are subtracting VAT, when you are taking out VAT. And then when you are using 115 at the top and then 100 below, this is when you are adding or when you are including VAT. So you see how we work. 15 over no, and no. Doesn't work. It will get you wrong answers. So let's continue. We also need to calculate the VAT amount, and then we'll also go back to starting with the VAT exclusive and then going to the VAT inclusive. In fact, yeah, we will get there. So now let's go a bit down. Let's get some real estate. So what if the question said that calculate the VAT amount? What then would we do? So let's say this is the amount that we were given, 529.99. It is VAT inclusive, and we're asked to calculate the VAT amount. We're going to start like this. Why? Because in order for you to calculate the VAT amount, this is the simple thing that you can use, or the simple formula that you can use. You can simply say that VAT inclusive amount subtracting by the VAT exclusive amount, or the original amount, is equals to the VAT amount. Let's see if this does make sense and also if it does work. What's our VAT inclusive? It is 529.99. What is our VAT exclusive, the original amount? It's this one that we have calculated. It's 460.86. What's the answer? So let's come here, say 529.99, subtracting a 460.86. What do we get? We get a 69 rands 13 cents. So yes, this becomes our VAT amount. VAT inclusive, when you subtract a VAT exclusive or the original amount, you get a VAT amount. Now let's start differently so you can understand and you can even have more knowledge. So let me use a goal for this one. So let's say that we had 460.86. This was VAT exclusive, meaning that this was the original amount. This is the amount that does not have VAT. VAT is not added yet, or VAT is not included. And now the question was, calculate the VAT inclusive amount, or add VAT to this particular amount. What would we do? Well, we would say 460.86. What are we supposed to do? Remember, we have two methods, the decimal way and also the fractional way. So let's start with the decimal way. What did we say you do when you are using the decimal way? You multiply by 1.15. It's when you are adding or when you are including VAT. So we'll come here and we are going to multiply by 1.15. What do we get? So let's come here, 160.86, and then you multiply it by 1.15. You get 529.99 rounded off to 2 decimal places. Again, this was the fractional one. How about this was the decimal one. Sorry, this was the decimal one. How about the fractional one? Well, again, you start with 460.86. Here we multiply, but the question is, where does 100 go? Is it above or is it below? Now it says when you are adding, 100 is supposed to be below. So now we are going to say 115 above over 100. What do we get? We should get the same answer. If we are not getting the same answer, there is something that we are not understanding. And you can't be here and there are things we are not understanding. When we are here, we're supposed to understand everything. There we go. See, we are getting 529.99 rounded off to 2 decimal places. If you still do not understand how to round off, I made a very precise and a very extensive video on that. You can go and try. Just browse through my channel. You will see it somewhere there. So, now that we are given a VAT exclusive amount, we were able to make it a VAT inclusive amount. Another question also would still be, let's say, a question says that calculate the VAT amount. VAT amount. What are we supposed to do? Again, I said we can use a simple formula. What is that formula? You take the VAT inclusive, you subtract the VAT exclusive, you will remain with the VAT amount. What's our VAT inclusive? It's this one here that we just calculated. That's what we're calculating. So it's 529.99. What is our VAT exclusive? Well, it's the original amount, which was 460.86. When we put this on the calculator, so we have a 529.99. VAT exclusive 86. What do we get? Still, we are getting a 69.13. That's how you do it. These are the simple steps that you're supposed to follow every time, all the time. It does not matter you want to go the fractional way, as long as you understand that if you are adding or if you are including, 115 goes on top and then 100 at the bottom. If you are subtracting or you are taking out, therefore 100 at the top and then 115 at the bottom. This right here, this whole thing right here should be a frame. You need to understand this. Now, if you want to go the decimal way, if you are adding or if you are including, then it is multiplied by 1.15. If you are taking out or you are excluding, it is divided by 1.15. Lastly, because this does come out, there are items which are VAT exempt. They are 0 rated. So just about here, let me use a blue. There are items which are 0 rated. I've seen a question, and that question particularly was saying that calculate the VAT inclusive amount of a maize meal. So they said that a maize meal was I think somewhere like 100 rand or something like that, and they said that the maize meal amount was VAT exclusive. It was VAT exclusive, and the question was like calculate the VAT inclusive. Sorry about that. The VAT inclusive amount. What? That question is just trying to trick you. We do not include VAT on maize meal or milk or brown bread or eggs or samp or rice, all those, they are basic needs or they are basic food items. They do not have VAT. We call them zero rated. So whenever you see your maize meal or whenever you see your samp or your rice or your brown bread or your eggs or your milk, and then they are talking about VAT, just know that you do not include VAT. They are zero rated. So there is nothing that you are supposed to calculate. If they say calculate the VAT amount again, just tell them that the VAT amount is zero because you can't add VAT on such items. So yes, thank you. Keep well.